think we're live. I've not even begun and we're having technical difficulties. You guys let me know if you can see my pretty starting soon screen. I'm going to see if I can get some more folks in here. Let me see if it's even loading anything. This is the first time I've used Streamlabs. Oh, I think it is working. Yoo-hoo! Well, the first time I've used Streamlabs Ultra. I'm new. Hey, Sonny. Familiar face. Yep, stream. I'm trying to get back to a regularly streaming schedule for art days on Tuesdays and game days on Thursdays. So I'll hopefully be streaming a lot more. I know I've come out of the cave. It's been a tough couple of years. I'll just leave it at that. But here, let me throw this stream link around in the social medias, and then we'll get this puppy started. So one moment while I go do that. All right, so I'm learning how to transition between scenes, so we should be able to see my face in a second. Oh, I'm such an old lady to be doing this stuff. I can learn. First off, hopefully you can see my face. Yay, we're learning how to set all this stuff up. I don't know if I've done it right. So hi. This is Angela Sasser. For those who don't know me, I am an artist and do fantasy art and illustration. I've been in the hermit cave for years, basically since COVID, and I had to quit cons and everything, so just been out of the game, just trying to survive. And I'm back. I'm trying to come out of my way slowly from the hermit hole, and maybe I'll even be back at conventions this year if I can pass jury. Just trying to get back out in the world again, live life. And today we are going to be sketching with the line of action tool because I figured I need more practice. My skills have gotten a little rusty too, so what better way to force myself to practice than to hop on a stream and just sketch for the next hour or so. We'll see how long we can sketch, if I turn it off after an hour, or if we keep going. We'll see. So we'll be using the line of action tool, which is my favorite tool for practice. So let me show you guys. Well, before I hop into what the tool is, I've got my trusty sketchbook for studying. So I'll show you the front of this. It's just an old floppy sketchbook sample that I got back in college, and I figured I'll just use it for doing all of these practice sketches. Use every page, every side. And this is going to be a safe for work stream today. We'll see how many times Angela will curse, because I'm trying not to curse this stream. And the poses are all going to be clothed, so there won't be any surprise boobies today. So this is just some studies I've done with the line of action tool before. Really creepy pose in the middle. Ignore the monster pose. Also facial studies. It's just a really cool tool, and I need to practice more so much, desperately. I've gotten into this bad habit, I don't know if you guys have too, where you just rush from one final painting to the next final painting, the next big idea, and so you don't take that time to practice. And I really need a better like stream background. I haven't really figured out how to set up in this new house yet. So you just get like lighting arrangement behind me and whatever else is behind me. We'll figure it out. I'm still new to the streaming thing. We'll figure it out together. At least I got this custom theme going right, I hope. Anyways, let's switch to the view, so where you can start seeing the poses. And if you want to draw with me, grab your sketchbook, grab some pens. We're going to draw some people. It'll be great. We're going to learn. We're going to expand our minds. So, transition, magical screen. It's supposed to do like a glittering snow animation. We'll see if that happened. So let me get some like low-key music going on here too. Thanks, Gil. I'm glad I'm cool. This was so much easier to set up when I was doing digital art, but I'm trying to show you all the real paper made by a human. We're here to have humans draw stuff, so I'm trying to do this setup to where we can actually see and enjoy the tactileness of the paper. Let me show off the tools. Got my little wand pen. Ho ho ho. And I love ballpoint pens to study with them because, one, when you use a pen, you don't get married to the lines. You can just kind of mess up and you have to accept your failure. Oh no! I was about to say, it's my favorite pen messed up and the stream has just begun. So I gotta back up. Oh, okay, good. So yes, this keeps you from obsessing too much because we don't have time to sit here and obsess over each pose. This class is gonna go fast, okay? So with that in mind, let me show you the line of action tool. You can see it up on the right side here. This place is great. Let me shut this. All right. So this is a figure study tool. And they actually, let me go to the front page because I just love that they do everything, not just figure drawing, but also animals, hands and feet, faces and expression drawings, basic shapes. This one I hadn't realized is the scenes and environment drawing. We're definitely going to have to play with that in a future stream because I hate backgrounds and I suck at drawing buildings and thinking of settings, so it'll be really good practice for me to get out of my comfort zone and draw some environments. So today we're just going to the figure drawing section. Oh, and you can also subscribe to them now. This is new. I mean, it's probably happened years ago and I've only just now noticed, but you can subscribe to them and they've got a community where you can go and post your sketches for critique. And they'll even let you set goals. If you subscribe to them, you can set figure drawing goals for yourself. So if this does well for me, I might try to sub to them once we got a little more cash flow going on around here. One sub is like $2 a month, which isn't too bad. And then there's like a higher price premium sub for like all the educational features. But their main functionality is free. You can choose if you want nude models or clothed models. We're going with covered models today. All genders. I guess I'll draw children. They're my weakness. I make all my children look like 40 or something. So that'll probably be good for me to leave all ages in the session. We're going to do class mode, which is pretty cool because it guides you through activities just like they did when I took figure drawing classes in college. So 1 hour is going to give us 10 poses at 30 seconds apiece, 5 poses at 1 minute, 2 poses at 5 minutes, and 1 pose at 10 minutes with a little break in there, which is very nice of them. And then more poses. So let's do an hour. We'll start with that, and then if we still feel like going, we'll keep going with maybe a head study or something. So let's get drawing. Are you ready? Get your tools ready. Oh, let me start some music in here too. I had another cool thing that Streamlabs lets us do is play a little background music. So, oh hey, I'm seeing Peachy arrived too while I had the other screen up. Hello. The old lady my way around getting music playing. But they have this functionality where you can play royalty-free music, which is nice. Because I hate when these videos get re-uploaded from stream and then they get silenced for whatever reason for the copyright infringement. So no copyright infringement. Let us do an Awakening playlist. Ooh. I don't know how much brrr music we want today, so let's just go lo-fi. And you guys have to let me know if this music ends up too loud. I just want something kind of chill and lightly peppy that we can all enjoy while we're thinking very hard about these poses. Alright, let me know if that's too loud. And I might not be able to look up at chat while I'm focusing on poses. So I might miss catching up on chat until the 5-minute break. So keep that in mind. I still love you, I promise. Let's get drawing. Oh my goodness. We only have 30 seconds. I didn't have my pen out. And it's a complicated pose already. Oh no. Streamlabs. Okay. So we're trying to find the line of action, which is the name of this tool. Ah, see, this is what I hate. 30-second poses, because I'm already like, they always make me mad because I'll get into the flow of a pose and want to add detail, especially if it's a good pose. But yeah, 30-second poses are just meant to warm you up and kind of loosen you up so you're not, you just always need a warm up. Oh my goodness, see, already so rusty. But you're trying to find the action, the energy of the pose. Because what helps make your art flow and not look stiff, even with all the right anatomical details, is that you found that action and energy and storytelling in the pose. And you can't do that if you're focused just on scientific accuracy or anatomical accuracy. Oh, see, this is a cool pose. I wish it were longer. A baby! Baby just made of cylinders. Oh my goodness. Oh no, it's like either an old man made of sausage. See, we're pushing comfort zones already for me though. That's good. I needed this. Oof. And yeah, we're not trying to make the page look pretty either. We're just filling this area up with poses. Man, his center of balance is like way off because he's leaning. It's pretty cool. Oh man. Challenging pose. I wish I could dig in. This one has a nice twist to it. I like it. But yeah, this is another reason I've dedicated a sketchbook just to figure drawing, because then I don't have to worry about this sketchbook looking like I'm talented or anything like that. It can just be a mess, and we should be allowed to make messes. Because if you're not allowed to mess up ever, you will never improve at anything. You will just be too scared to try. See, this one's for all the people who tell me I can only draw stick figures. Well, guess what, buddy? Stick figures is how you get better. Oh, his head is like way over here. Trying to keep this in frame is challenging. I'll have to figure out how to set up this camera better. Wow, she's got this nice flow between her arm and her foot. That is cool. This one's taking brain power. Sledgehammer. Finally figured out how to hide the bar so I could see the feet. Oh, no, I couldn't do the head. Okay, fine. This is why we warm up. He's off balance too. It's kind of funny. It's like on tippy toe on one with his weight out over here. Ah, finally we get a minute. Man, I guess I'm gonna have to make chat bigger because I cannot read the chat bubbles. We'll definitely have to tweak this once I get a chance to sit and evaluate. Ah, so nice getting more than 3 seconds. And I'm still just only focused on trying to get the flow of the pose. That line of action. She said the word. For me, it's like trying to figure out the silhouettes too. Ooh, they put a dog in this one. That's a lot for a minute. Let's see how much we can do. Just boil it down to the most important lines here to try and capture this pose. Dog. Getting butt rubs. If I go completely silent, it's because brain is really ticking away trying to get a particular pose. Sometimes it takes more computing power for brain. Oh, we're almost done with one page. I'm gonna try and put that one in here. See, writing on a chair? I thought it was a broomstick for a second. We're gonna make it a broomstick in my version. Why not? Man, what is this leg other doing? It's like, foiled. Over. Quick, before my minute's gone. Actually, let me pause this for a second. Pause. Let me catch up on chat and make sure this music isn't uncomfortably loud. Let's see, where is chat? I know I had it up on screen. Boy, I'm just gonna trust it's not too loud. Okay, back to study. It's like I closed the chat panel, I'm not sure where it went. Well, time for drawing. Personally, I kind of like to get where the top of the legs are first, after I kind of figure out the flow of the pose. I guess it really backs up the skeletal structure when you can get the knees and the elbows in. Like, I always like to know how those shapes are. I am too slow. Got one more 1 minute pose. Then we can really have fun getting into the details. 5 minute pose. So what I was taught in school is to draw the container shape first for complicated poses like this, and then then you can think about the negative space and how that defines the pose. And the negative space is like the space between like the outside of the container shape and the outside of the figure, and that shape that's made between that and the figure can kind of help you keep the proportions from going wildly off kilter. This is a nice, like, classical pose. Yay, I'm proud of myself for practicing. Can't skip the little stuff. It helps you in such subtle ways. Like, I notice when I don't practice, my figures get really stiff, and they also tend to get like really anime proportion, because I think Dragon Ball Z and Sailor Moon are all in my head, because that's the first things I learned how to draw were fan art for anime. So everybody ends up getting really elongated proportions, because my brain starts shortcutting if I don't study. It'll shortcut to all these anime long legs, which, you know, they're cool. But if you're trying to draw realism, you gotta rein it in. No long legs. Whoop. Sorry, hit the camera. Oh, I should have drawn this a little bigger. I should also say I'm keeping things very light. That's another reason I like ballpoint pens, because you can come in here and like do hatching very lightly, and it's just very dainty. Like, using a pencil doesn't bleed like pens with a heavier ink to them. It just flows really nicely. It's comfortable for me. And again, because it's still pen, it keeps me from obsessing too much and erasing and redrawing. You just have to live with your mistakes. So I can mix these light strokes in with heavier strokes and start adding a bit of line weight in. Give him some hair. Can at least do that before the time limit's over. Do my guy a solid here. His head looks big, but I don't have time to fix. Such is life. That's another constant problem I have, is big head syndrome. Ooh, we've got that harsh lighting in this one. That line of chiaroscuro, where the shadow goes from like highlight to dark. They're giving me some challenging poses. Let's see if I can do this one a little bigger, while still staying in frame, which is really hard. Ugh. See, now, the way I'm actually used to practicing in school was you got the big paper and you had charcoal sticks, and you would use your whole arm to get into the motion of drawing. And if I had the space to do that, maybe I could set that up sometime. I've still got a lot of my old paper from school. But today we just have sketchbook and pencil. This one is challenging because I can't quite make out the detail of the hands and the feet. And there's some crazy foreshortening going on there. So I'm just kind of like trying to feel out where the figure is. How he's folding in space right here. Then that overlap of the face and the shoulder. But yeah, just remember, we're not here to draw masterpieces. We're just tuning our minds to gestures and flow, keeping it loose, learning how to observe. His arm is actually not as thick as I made it. I can tell I wish I had more time to like figure this one out. Already down to a minute 44. I'm trying to learn to do more confident lines, which is a tip that Proco, the person I learned a lot of anatomy tips from outside of college, was Proco's channel on YouTube. Awesome channel full of free advice and figure drawing tips. And I liked his tip to be more confident, because it forces you to kind of stop. Like, you're not sitting here going like scratching out the pose. You're observing and making more sure lines, and it teaches you to observe rather than just kind of lazily go nya 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 nya, which is how I used to draw before. I used to chicken scratch my way, kind of like carving it away like it was a sculpture, trying to find the right line, and it made such a mess. And I'm still kind of do that sometimes, so I'm trying to learn better habits. He's like got his toes out. Toes. Is he have his toes out? Squint. He's got like his hand around his ankle. No, those aren't his toes. Those are his fingers. Wrapped around his foot. Okay. No, I wasn't done. Alas. Next pose. Wrangling a rope. Oh yeah, he's definitely not that tall. I can already tell this one's gonna mess with my mind too. Foreshortening my old enemy. Man, his beard is like, at the angle it is like, there is no neck, there is only beard. But it's kind of a cool angle because you can see the top of the nose and the brow. It's one of those head angles that's like impossible to draw, but it looks so good if you can get it right. Beard. I'm giggling because I'm like, I promise you guys, I know how to draw. All of these have come out kind of rough. But again, I have to tell that perfectionist to chill. It's okay if these look rough, they're supposed to. Another exercise I'd like to do sometime on stream is one I saw the comic artists doing, which was to take their characters and see if they could draw them with no facial features but still make the character look recognizable. Like maybe I can do that with famous characters so I can practice having really unique likenesses. Because I want to solve the problem of my original characters looking too similar to one another. Especially my men. Oh my gosh. All my men end up looking like the same kind of like Saeed from Lost. He was the model for one of my characters. So I learned how to draw him really well. And then it just kind of rubbed off on every guy I drew from that point forward. So I need to like, I mean, it's not a bad person. Like Naveen Andrews is not a bad person to look like, but I need to learn how to draw different types of menfolk. He has a really cool muscle definition here. Viewable because he's twisting and I made too much booty. It was an accident. Booty. It was an accident. But yeah, there's a lot of art exercises that I know I want to do, like master copies and style copies, just to like arcane style would be a fun one to do on stream. Like analyze that and draw my characters on stream. So I've got material for a few more of these art streams if y'all are enjoying them. And even if folks don't end up finding this the most thrilling kind of stream, they're just fun for me to get on and hang out with folks and actually force myself to study. That's really valuable for me. See, now I finally have some time to sit here and add different line weight, which really helps us get more of a sense of the volume of this figure, which I love doing with just really light hatching. But yeah, definitely check out Proko's stuff for some really great free lessons, because I'm definitely not here to teach. I'm not confident in my skills to teach life drawing on stream yet. Maybe one day. But I still feel like I'm learning. I'm definitely not the master of anatomy yet. Though I wonder, when do we ever become masters of anatomy? I think it's something you kind of always have to be observing and practicing, because it's just so complicated. By the time you've remembered something really well, you've forgotten something else, like the way arms bend and look weird in space, or how hands do. How the hands do. Yeah, this leg looks weird. I think I gotta figure out the foreshortening a little better than I have. The camera's always gonna add some warping too. Short break time. All right, time to catch up on chat. Or figure out how to bring the chat panel back. All right, what did I do to make it go away? Actually, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go grab a glass of water, and then I will find the chat. Be right back. Okay, I'm back. Ooh, sorry, my chair is probably a hideous loud noise. I was gonna say I'll put the Twitch window up, but that would just bring it up and block the window. Let's see. Streamlabs. How do we see chat? There we go, I found it. Minimizing gets rid of chat in Mac. FYI. Okay, catching up. Oh, thanks for sharing, Gil. I appreciate it. me stop shaking my leg. I just realized it shakes the whole table. Coding and art at the same time. Awesome multitasking. So as far as, while that's on break, I can show you guys Proko real fast. Proko does also have classes that cost money, but they have extra information and resources and whatnot. But almost all of his information is available for free on YouTube. So that's cool. And if you know of any figure drawing resources that you like, please share them. I'm always up for more. There's a plethora of them out there. I know Proko's not the only one. There's some YouTube channels that have models that pose in life drawing sessions. So yeah. And also I think something that's valuable that is worth it are the fact that Proko has photo packs too. I'm trying to see where the photo packs are. But basically, there are photo packs with really good lighting in them where you have really defined muscles. And that kind of helps you pick out the muscle groups and learn the anatomy more clearly. Because sometimes when you get reference that doesn't have a lot of definition and the lighting obscures a lot of the detail, it's hard to study from. So if you, I don't recall them being expensive either. See, like $1,300. And I'm trying to keep this a safer work, stream, so I won't click into them. Oh wait, this is just undies. So these aren't too bad if I recall. And they have really clear muscle groups. Actually, it looks like this is a models in motion sort of deal, which is cool. I didn't even know that was a thing on here. I haven't looked in a while. Oh, let's see, is this... We got 30 seconds. I guess we'll stop looking at Proko. But yeah, check it out sometime. My favorite resource. I recommend it to everybody. And we'll go over stock resources next time, because I could go on forever about all my favorite stock providers, but that sounds like another whole little mini video I could put in. So let's get back to drawing. Get your pens warmed up. Break is over. Back to the intensity. All right, trying to set them back to multi-window. Multi-window, please. There we go. Wow. All right, this is a challenging one. Just stare at it for a second and... Boy, this session really wants to challenge me with the foreshortening. All right, let's try this container shape. What a cool action pose. Man, how did the arm even do? Because like the curve on this outside arm is so unnatural looking to me. Probably because he's in motion, so he's shifting his weight from arm to arm, and it just makes this arm look very pretzel like. The muscles are like twisting, and his hand is even facing like the opposite direction. That's wild. That's so fun though. The human body is capable of so many awesome movements. And that's how you know when you're an artist, when you look at somebody and you're like, wow, your arm makes the coolest shape when you bend it. You know you've been staring too long at people. There's like a little sliver of negative space between the leg and the far foot. I like how these bangs are feathering out. Action floof. I feel like it's too wide on my version. I've made him an absolute unit. Alright, let's see. What can we do to fix this? I think just adding in where the segments of the arms and the shoulders are will make this look less like meat pretzel. Ugh, fingers in foreshortening. This pose was made to just kill Angela brain cells. See if I can find that scapula in the back. That's like the main bony landmarks. It's like tilted. Boy, there may just be no saving this pose, but I'm gonna keep going because we've got 18 more minutes of this pose. I can fix him. Ah, I see what it is. This is maybe out too far. This rib cage, this glimpse of the rib cage. And the muscles that wrap around the back, which the names escape me. It's another thing I need to brush up my knowledge on, is labeling the muscles, which all flown out of my head. I remember scapula, trapezius, and deltoids. I think deltoids are in the front, and trapezius, no, that's in the front too. Yeah, I'm totally rusty on the back anatomy, apparently. Which I need to brush up on that if I'm going to draw more Cushiel's legacy art, which has been my latest project. Because there's a lot of characters with back tattoos in that one, so I better learn my back anatomy. It's got like this line here that shows the overlap between where his waist is folding. That really sells this pose. And once again, I have drawn too much badunkadunk in the back. So let me fix that. Fix this badunkadunk. Promise I'm not doing it on purpose. I mean, maybe I am. I don't know. Subconscious. This pose will be the end of my brain cells for today. Normally I'd be moving the paper around a lot more, but it's hard to like move it too much and stay in frame, so. I have drawn him so square. This hand. Ugh, failure. I must not obsess on my failures. Accept the failure, Angela. Some poses just gonna be meat pretzels. I should also say that I'm more focused on finding the forms of the muscles and the contours of the muscles than I am than trying to like make this look like a good, well shaded piece. Like, I'm much more concentrated on the lines and energy of poses than I am trying to make this like aesthetically appealing. Just in case it wasn't obvious from the fact I'm not doing like a photo replication of each pose. I'm just concentrated on lines and contours right now. And if I have time, I'll lay in some quick shading, especially if it'll help inform what these muscles are doing. But the goal is definitely not to make an illustration. I feel like he should be leaning more like... Actually had it right the first time, that his arm is coming all the way out. And I feel like that's like where the collarbone meets in the back, which is like a crazy angle in this pose. It's where anatomical knowledge would definitely help me out with this so I can understand what these tendons are doing a little better. Is anyone trying this pose out? It's a doozy. I feel like it has no shoulder the way I've drawn it, so maybe that's also what's missing, is this shoulder joint foreshortening into the bicep. And I haven't actually drawn that in on mine yet. This is a little better. A little better. That's definitely where bringing in some shading will help. Ugh, 11 more minutes of this pose. I might not be able to do this one. I might mulligan myself out of this one. I'm not sure. Anything else I could add to it would help either my understanding or just dressing up something that I don't think I can really add much more to. There's so much subtle musculature here in the side too, where the torso is folding. All this really delicate highlighting. So if you define it too much, it looks wrong. Oh, I forgot I had a coffee bot that posts in chat. I do also have a Ko-fi in addition to Patreon for those who'd rather just throw a tip rather than be like subscribed for life like Patreon. Always helps a gal out. Keeps me in the coffee. Coffee and sugars make the art go. Alright. I cannot anymore with this pose, so I'm gonna skip. I know, I'm weak. Weakness. A much more straightforward pose. And much better lighting too, I'd say. I'm out of frame. Hold on. Looks like a hot dog right now. All right, so trying to find the major form and flow here. The legs are very prominent in this pose for me. Like the part of the flow comes from the arm going into the leg. Again, with the extreme foreshortening just for the brain challenge today. I'm also pleased with this tool to have more diverse models to draw. That's always nice. He's got these subtle lean to his head. And then kind of looking at the camera's up, looking up at him just a little bit. All these great challenging angles today. We will grow a lot just from studying all this. Because it never fails. The more challenge you give yourself, the more you will improve. Those tough pieces are always the ones where I grow the most. It's contrary to popular belief lately. The challenge and the difficulty is kind of what makes art worth doing. Because once you learn something and have that satisfaction, it feels so nice. I think I would just get so bored if I could just poop out a pose and just have no challenge. It's like, boop, I've copied it as a photograph. You know, there's none of me, or my expression or my eye in it. No, I'm not complaining about AI. Maybe I am a little bit. Just a little bit. I'll try to keep my rants to one per stream. I haven't cursed yet once in this stream either. That's a new record. Hopefully people will enjoy the art stream. I know it's much quieter and we're kind of staring at the same thing. But it's nice. I enjoy it. And for the more lively game stream, that's coming up on Thursday, where I'll be playing Venba, which is like a cooking game, but also a story game. So I'm excited for that. Always look at the ads for that game and think it just looks like the most cute, charming, emotional game. And I'm intrigued how it will tell its story through cooking, since it's about an Indian mom and her family in the 80s. So looking forward to that. And just getting back to streaming in general. The last time I've really streamed, I think, was Martha is Dead, which was like a horror mystery game. So that was pretty weird. That was an overall weird experience. Bless the folks who made it through that one with me. But I do want to keep streaming games that I think have interesting storytelling or artistry to them. So I'll keep sharing that. Because I feel like I really miss having community. Like, if I can't get into any of these conventions, social media has been kind of a mess. So I feel like maybe on stream, that's a nice way to reconnect with people outside of Facebook and Instagram, which I couldn't get the multi-stream to work with it today. So I guess those communities are missing out. But I about had it up to here with Meta, so I'm not too fussed about it at the moment. But yeah, it'll just be nice to get back to chill streaming. I'm gonna get some of this guy's fantastic hair in. But yeah, if you have ideas for other art exercises to do, there are some fun ones that comic artists do that I'm like the one I talked about where it's the featureless faces. But there's also stuff like draw a character's room or draw what's in a character's pocket. I'm really excited for stuff like character exercises. Alright, I guess I can't avoid this hand forever. Let me draw the hands. just going to add this block in real fast so it doesn't look like he's hovering in air. I always like to ground the figures if I can. That way it kind of sells all the rest of the perspective. Takes away some of that awkwardness of figure floating in space. I'm having trouble parsing what's going on with the toes. Like, I can't tell if his big toes, like, curled up like this into the camera, so let's see. I don't think I can zoom. Oh, I can zoom! Oh, it is curled up. Okay, he's pointing his toe up. This reminds me of that hand drawing meme that was like, draw the hand spread out like this, like flat, and you had to draw like the fingers coming towards the camera. It was the worst meme ever. It was triggering, okay? Well, now that I know that I can zoom in, that is much helpful, because sometimes the clarity is tough because I'm got such a smaller screen on my laptop. Okay. 12 more minutes. 12 more minutes. We could add some shading this time. I thought his toe was pointed before. That sassy toe point. I love it. Definitely gonna have to come back for a future session and draw nothing but hands and feet. Well, that'll be another torturous session. Well, the way I talk, I make it sound like artists are just all masochists. Like, we like the pain of learning. And kind of a late response because I just peeked in at chat real quick. Yeah, I almost did this digitally, but I don't know. I feel like people need to appreciate the mistakes of traditional art right now. Like, just the imperfection and the fact that, you know, someone's coming in here and doing this kind of process. I feel like, if anything, people are going to appreciate that a lot more right now. But I probably will do some digital at some point. Though one of my favorite things is to draw on toned paper, so that way you can quickly lay in the highlights and the shading, and it just somehow always looks really sexy when you draw on toned paper. It looks good no matter what. Like, all of these poses would just be leveled up immediately if I were drawing on toned paper. Oh, see, now I finally have time to add in some hatching and shading on this, because he's got some really nice soft transitions on the stomach. My regret is having this diagonal I put across when I was doing the under sketching, but maybe I can fix that by just distracting with some darker outlining and overlaying this a little bit. Such is life, drawing in pen. Again, I wish I had bigger paper so I can get in on the facial detail here. So one question I get asked a lot is, well, I'm a beginner. How do I start drawing? And people get really overwhelmed by the idea of it because I'm sitting here talking about how, yes, you must just put hours into drawing practice and eventually you will know anatomy. But rather than getting overwhelmed by where, like the end, you just have to think about the basics. And that's what I love Draw a Box for. Like back in the day, that wasn't a thing online for me. I learned from like those Draw 50 Animals books. I started learning as a kid from those. And then I had like art classes in high school and college and whatnot. But nowadays, there's great resources like Draw a Box, which I highly recommend. And what that'll do is just walk you through drawing shapes and some of the terminology of art that you need to kind of have in mind when you're drawing. So definitely recommend Draw a Box if you just are an absolute beginner and you want to start learning some good habits and starting with simpler things than humans, because humans are some of the most complicated things to draw. So it's kind of hard to start right with humans, which is what everybody wants to do. We want to draw the cool stuff we see out there, which generally features humans. But that path is madness. If you think you want to try it and you won't get frustrated, by all means, but it's hard, guys. Definitely recommend drawing boxes with Draw a Box and learning simpler shapes first, and then you can learn how to sort of apply what you've learned drawing simpler shapes to the meat pretzel that is human anatomy. So yeah, Draw a Box. It's what I'm recommending everyone to now, including my husband, Kevin, who has told me, he says this was just drunk rambling, that he is going to draw his own D&D character. He told me he was going to draw her, and so he said he was going to start practicing art. So maybe I can get him to share that, so you can get some good encouragement and have some accountability. We'll see. I would love to share that journey. But only if Kevin wants to. Some people do not respond well to sharing their art early on, so we will see if he wants to. It would be super fun though. Like, one, it's nice to have other people who can draw in a group, because I am notorious for just drawing my own characters and then like moving on. I'm selfish. But two, it would just be really fun to see someone else's take on our D&D groups too. In college, it used to be a lot more artists per RP group that I've been in, but now I seem to be the only one. So yes, we must enlist Kevin to be the next group's artist. Wish I had grabbed a ruler or something for this. Oh well. I don't need no ruler. I'm a rebel. I'm almost ready to declare this one, but then I just realized it's about a minute and a half out from being done anyway, so I might as well noodle a little bit more. Noodly. Now, I really admire the people who can draw on the fly, like on the subway or sitting in the park and whatnot. I get too distracted by like bugs and stuff. Like, bug lands on me, I'll just be like, ew. Or just annoyed by the sensation or the noise. Although I like garden sketching, even though that comes with bugs. Oh, class is finished. Ah! Alright, let's back the camera out. And look at all of the things we have done. Let's see. Alright, this was the 30-second and 1 minute poses, I think. Which all look really silly, crammed in this corner. And then, I think we got 10-minute, 15-minute. I actually think this one is probably my favorite. Something about the volume in the body and the legs and whatnot really came out well. His muscles kind of came out more convincing as well. Something about the volume really works. And then that was the longest pose, I think. The one where I did the most detail work. Also pretty cool, but I don't know, something clicked more about that pose for me. Sometimes it happens. So, I think that's actually going to be enough for me today. That was fun. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I really got to join this line of action tool sometime because they're doing great work for artists, and I want to support them. Next time, head and hands perhaps, or I might do that arcane style study. I might actually put up a poll to see what you guys want to see more of. I've got a few ideas, so I'll just put them all in a poll and y'all can pick. But for now, this was my first try at art stream. I hope y'all liked it. And if you'd like to see more of my art, please do visit angelasasser.com and say hi to me on social media. I'm mainly on Blue Sky these days, so just look at Angela Sasser art there. Say hi. Show me what you drew today. I'd love to see. And for now, I think I'm just gonna sign off. Catch you next time, which would be Thursday. This Thursday, I'm going to be streaming a game, and then Tuesdays are from here on forward are going to be just all art exercises and activities. If you have any critiques for this stream, let me know. I hope the setup went okay and that like everything was working for folks. So if anything looked weird in my overlay, or if the chat is too small to read, or the sound didn't work, let me know. All right, I'm out. Y'all have a good day, and thanks for joining.